Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the screen on this MacBook Pro model A1706. This is a 13-inch, I believe, touch bar model. Okay, so I'm going to have to shut this off completely. So first thing you want to do, power off the computer completely by holding the power button. Make sure the screen goes off. Alright, turn it over. First thing we're going to need is a pentalobe 1.2 or a P5 screwdriver. Okay, so just remove the screws from the bottom. Try and keep them in order because they are different sizes and lengths. I believe the back two corner ones are the longest. But either way, I always try and put the same screw back where I got it. So if it came from this hole, I try and put that same screw back there. Okay, even if they're the same exact size and length, I always try and put the same screws back where I got them. So that works really well. If sometimes there's some small differences, you can't really tell. So try and do that if you can. Okay. Alright, so we'll just take out all these screws. Okay. And just put them in order on my desk in the same way I take them out. So if there's 4 in a row like that, I'll put them on my desk like that, and then I'll put the 2 up there. Alright. Once you do that, you're going to need a suction cup for this, or actually, sometimes on this model you might not need a suction cup because there's the vent hole for the fans here, and you can use that to kind of lift it up, but the suction cup does make it easier. So usually what you can do is you can lift up the panel here, and then after you do that, you can actually get underneath this metal panel here. But if you aren't able to lift it up that way, you can take a suction cup, pull this up, and then same thing, just get underneath the panel. Okay, you can either use your fingers or a pry tool or whatever you want. Okay, once you do that, as you can see, I got my finger in there. You go down the side and then you pull up on this panel while pushing down on the bottom half. So I'm using my thumb to push down on the other half, and I just pull it up like this. Okay, then you then you just go around, same thing, and then pull it up just like that. Alright, I'm getting a call, so I'm probably gonna have to stop this for a bit, and then, well, actually, I'll stop this for a bit and I'll be back. Alright, sorry about that. Anyways, once you pop up the 2 clips on the sides, there's also clips in the middle, but they usually will pop themselves up as you pop that up. You want to put the computer like this. If you have a padded surface that's also kind of solid, you'll want to use that. You can also put it like a towel or something down. And then what you do, you pull this forward and then you grab this panel with your hand like that. And then what I do is I wrap my fingers over the side, and then also I push down on this piece with my other fingers. So just like this, okay? Then it slides down. Be careful because you can cut your fingers on this case here. All right. And then usually this side won't come out at the same time, but sometimes it does. And then after you get that side down, you can grab this side and just pull it out like that, and the whole case will come out. So this is pretty dusty. I'm probably going to have to take it out and clean it. You can see my fingerprints there. Yeah. But yeah, I'll take that out and clean it later. So the first thing you want to do after removing the cover is disconnect the battery. For that, you'll need a T5 bit, okay? So we'll take this little plastic cover off. It's held in with some little foam adhesive things. Just peel it up, okay? Go slow. You want to peel up the adhesives, okay? Sometimes the adhesive will stick to the board, and sometimes it will stick to this plastic tab. But you just pull it up just like this, okay? Oh, that plastic tape came out again. That's kind of weird that these keep coming out like that. Right, so there you go. So here you can see the little things I was talking about. This piece of plastic isn't supposed to come up, so we're gonna have to put that back, and I'll show you where it goes. Okay, so after you do that, there's a little connector here. You want to peel back this plastic piece that's on top. So this is just like a sticker that's on top, okay, holding it out of the way. And then there's a little tab here. You want to flip that tab up. Once you have that tab up, you can grab this connector. Try and grab as close to the connector as you can, where it kind of goes straight, not the squiggly part, and then you can wiggle and pull this back. Okay, that comes out. So as you can see, these little metal contacts there, those aren't supposed to be exposed. This piece, this plastic thing is supposed to be on top of there. So I'm going to peel this off. Okay, so this adhesive is supposed to actually separate like that. Okay, and then this will go on top of there. Okay, I don't know why it's peeling off so easily. Maybe it's because the adhesive is old. Okay, anyways, then you take the T5 screwdriver, undo the big screw here. Okay, after you take out that screw, you want to bend this metal plate slightly up. So this one, if you can see here, there's no gap, but when you bend it, it'll form a little gap there, so it's no longer touching the board below it, and that's how you disconnect the battery. So after you have the battery and everything disconnected, you want to press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds. That will just drain any power from the board. This is very important when working on the screen. If you want to be safe, you can hold it for even longer, like 20-30 seconds. Okay, so that should be good. Alright, so now I'm going to be back. I'm going to clean out the dust, and then I will continue the screen removal replacement. Okay? Alright, so we'll close this up, and I will be back. Alright, so I'm back. Cleaned out the dust from here. Okay, then we got to clean this up. So battery's disconnected again. Okay, make sure. If you want, you can check, hold the power button again. I'll just do it for a few seconds just in case I accidentally push that connector down while cleaning it up. Okay, so to remove the screen, there's a lot of little screws that we need to remove. So you're going to need a T4 screwdriver. You'll also need a pentalobe 0.8 or a P, what's the number for that one? P2. Okay, and then we'll also need a T5, if I didn't say that already. Okay, we'll need T5, T4, and yeah. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is take the T4, sorry, which is a Torx, and then we'll have to remove these two little screws here. Actually, maybe it's a T3, and this bit is just... Okay, so if you're using the iFixit set, you're going to probably have to use a T3, not a T4. Okay. So let's switch to the T3. Yep, so it's a T3 in the iFixit set. So depending what screwdriver set you use, make sure you kind of see if the screw grabs tight. Because on all my other videos, I've been using a T4 and it works well. But apparently this more expensive iFixit set, the T3 is the one that fits these. Okay, so keep that in mind. I think that the other screwdriver sets, the bits on the end are more rounded, so it's not like a as sharp of a points for the Torx screw, and that's probably why a T4 works with the other sets. Okay, so again, T4, it's a T3 with this iFixit bit, but on other screwdrivers you might have to use a T4. Okay, so we'll remove these two, and then we'll remove these metal plates holding this. Again, try and keep all the screws in order because they are different sizes, shapes, and lengths. You don't want to get them all mixed up. Okay, take that metal plate off, set that aside, take these other two screws out. Okay, same thing, metal plate. Okay, set that aside. Alright, then we'll remove the ones from the middle here. This is for the LCD or LVDS connector. Right, this is the one that's very important. If you are going to remove this, make sure you drain the battery power from the Mac. Otherwise you can fry something. Right, we'll take this metal plate off. And we'll take these two screws out right below it. This holds the cable in place. Okay. And these screws are the longest ones. Oh, I got another call. We'll take this screw out. Okay, just like that, and set that piece aside as well. Okay, take that out and set it aside. Alright, and I'll be back. I'm going to answer this call. Alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so we're going to continue the screen replacement process. We removed that little plate down there. Now you can actually pop this connector up off the board. Okay, just go underneath, use a pry tool, and then pop it up. I use my fingernail. Alright. Just like that. Oh, I think I have a customer here. I'm going to have to pause again. Anyways, take the two screws out from here and the two screws out from here, holding these spring-loaded connectors in place. Okay. screws are super long. These are the longest screws actually that are in this process. Okay, let's take those out. Take these two out. Uh-oh, yeah, I think that customer's here, so I'm probably gonna have to pause again. Okay, got all of those. And now we're gonna have to switch to a T5 screwdriver. Okay, and then we're gonna have to remove the 4 screws holding this board down, as well as this screw holding the wireless antennas in place. Okay, these are a lot of screws. Again, make sure that you're keeping them in order, keeping track of where the screws came from. All right, just like this, 2, 3, and 4. Oops, 3 and 4. All right, and I'll see you guys in a bit since my customer's calling. All right, bye. All right, so I'm back. So we removed those 4 T5 screws. Now we have to remove the T5 screw for this. I usually don't mention on all my videos, but you want to make sure that have yourself grounded so you don't get static electricity into your computer. But anyways, to remove these connectors, you just get underneath. You can use anything, a little pry tool or whatever. And then at the tail, you want to pull it up. And that should release the antenna just like that. Same thing, I just like to use 2 of my fingernails, go from the tail, and pull it up just like that, okay? If it gets too difficult to remove, then you might have to use a little tool like this underneath, and then you can pull it up. But usually you want to use something like plastic or that doesn't conduct electricity, or the metal's kind of tough, so you might scrape the board. But anyways, just like that, remove the screw here. Okay. Then we got to switch to the, let me see here, not that. We got to switch to the pentalobe. It's like an iPhone screwdriver. What did I do with that one? I think it's this one, which is a P2 or a pentalobe 0.8. Okay. Then we got to remove all these screws here. Okay. I'm getting another person texting or calling me. Jeez, non-stop today after Christmas. I can't get a break. All right. Let's remove that. Remove that. All right, and just remove all these screws. The main thing you need to reconnect to test it is this one connector here. But usually I just assume everything is okay and then I just put it all back together. But if you don't want to have to redo it over and over again, you'll probably want to test that first. And then the other thing is you want to test you're going to have to drain the battery power again if you plug it in to test it before you reconnect everything. That's why I just put everything together and assume everything is good. Okay, so take all these little pentalobe screws out. These are basically same type that they use for the iPhones, except they're shorter. Okay. Alright. Alright, once you get all those screws out, you can pull out the wireless antenna. So this board, this thing goes slightly up, and then what I do is I go underneath where the antenna is. There's the little air vents there. You can use that to kind of pull up on this, and this part will pop up. Okay, you can go on the other side, same thing. And then you have to kind of wiggle and slide these wireless antennas out. These are a little tricky to put back. You'll want some good tweezers to do this, or before I just use like a little needle that's kind of bent like a hook so I can pull the connections up. But basically you just wiggle this out, okay, just like that, and you got the wireless antenna out. So I'll set that aside. And then the last part is the T8 screws here. So you want to open the screen. The way I do this, I open the screen all the way. Okay, and I mean all the way until the screen stops. I hang it off my desk like this. Okay, then we take the T8 screwdriver. Okay, and then you just take these screws out, just like this. Okay, there's 3 on each side. And then I like to use thread locker when I put these screws back to make sure that they hold tight. Okay, just like this. Hold on, I'm working on another Mac at the same time, so I'm going to be off to the side. My hand will be off to the side a little bit, but hopefully I can fix this one at the same time. Okay. Why is this not reading? Is their USB port broken? It's just not reading. Okay. That, and we'll take out this last one. Okay. So now that we got all those screws out, you can let the screen drop slightly. Okay. And then lift the screen up. Okay. You might have to wobble it around back and forth like this. And then you can lift the screen out. Be careful if it's caught somewhere. Just pull those things out and then pull the screen out. And there you go. That's the old screen. So now we're going to get the replacement screen and swap it out. Okay. I'm going to set that old screen aside. Put it there. Okay. And I will be back with a new screen. Give me a second. I need to check this computer too. Sorry. I'm multitasking right now. It's too many computers at once. Okay. Alright, so we'll grab the replacement screen here. Okay. Alright, so here's the replacement screen, and we'll have to peel off some stuff. So right now I just peeled off that. I'm going to leave this protective cover on, but it had this foam thing there as well. Okay, the hinge, you want it to be open completely. So if they are closed or folded down for some reason, you can take your T8 screwdriver, just stick it in the hinge, and then you can pull it back all the way. Here you can see I can rotate the hinge. Okay, so you want the hinges all the way open. Then what you want to do is get underneath and then pull these cables up. Okay, so you want to hold these cables up. Be careful not to squeeze the screen. You don't want to damage it. So while you're holding these cables up, you can drop this in place, get the hinges in the right spot. Okay. Alright, that's the hardest part. Get the hinges. Okay. Or it's not the hardest part, I'm just saying that, but okay. There you go. So now we got this on top. So what you want to do, like I said, I like to add thread locker to the screws. So I'll grab the thread locker here. Okay. Alright, then what I do is usually I'll take one screw on each side and I'll tighten it down without the thread locker. Okay, not like super tight, I just want it to be holding the hinge in place. Okay, why is this hinge like further open there? Okay. Just like that. Okay. Once you got that, I like to close the screen. Okay. Does that fall off? Okay. So once I have the screen closed, I will loosen the screw. Okay, just like that. Now that the screw is loose, I like to go toward the corners and use my fingers like this to make sure that the screen is completely aligned. And once I make sure it's aligned, I will tighten down the screw here. Okay, and that will keep this the screen and everything lined up for when I go to put in the other screws. Okay, just like that. Okay, and now we're going to use the thread locker. So what you do is you take the screw, you just put a tiny bit on there. I'm doing this kind of off camera. Okay, just a little bit like that. And then put the screw in. So I'm going to do that with all 6 screws. It's kind of annoying to try and record that, so I'm just going to do that off camera, and hopefully you get the idea. Let me actually start with this other computer. Give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So I'm just going to be putting the thread locker on all the screws. Okay. Once I get those two, I'll take the other screw back out that we didn't put the thread locker on, and then add the thread locker to that screw. You don't need the thread locker, but it helps keep the hinge more solid. Sometimes the hinge will start wobbling around. If you have that issue, then you'll probably want to get some thread locker and add it. Okay. Just like that. Alright, so now we got all 6 hinge screws in. I'm going to flip this thing back over. Oops. Actually peeling off that protective thing. Okay. We'll put away the T8 bit because we don't need that anymore. If you want, you can get the T4 and put those other ones first, but I'm going to go back to the T5 and we'll go back in order how we did it. So let me close this up. I'm going to need the tweezers to make it a little bit easier. Okay. Alright, so we're going to put back the wireless antennas. Okay, so to do that, you have to slide it and guide it through the hole that it came out of earlier. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but basically the same place that it got pulled out from, you kind of have to guide it back through there. It's a little tricky because it always gets caught on stuff, so come on. See, this one was getting caught. Sometimes it helps to kind of curve them upwards, so that way when they go underneath, they don't get caught on the raised section. Okay. But it is kind of tricky. Let's see, come on, why isn't it going in? Come on. There we go. So what I did when I pulled this thing up, when it got stuck, it helped curve those wires upwards. Okay, most of them went up on their own. This one I'm going to have to grab with the tweezers and pull it up. There we go, just like that. Wiggle it around. The little screw mounting hole will get caught as well, so you have to pull that up as well. I use the tweezers to do that. There we go, just like that. If my head's going to get in the way, I'm sorry. But basically line the screw holes up for this while it's kind of slightly tilted forward. Okay, and then you can push this down to lock that back in place just like before. Okay, and now we're going to put back the T5 screws. So we're going to take first the one that was holding the antennas down, just like that. You can kind of leave it loose a little bit and then put the antennas back in. You just line them back up. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I can't really move the laptop around on my desk because there's not much room here. I'm going to knock screws and stuff over. But go over there, kind of line it up. The way I know it's lined up is I'll run my fingernail over the top, and if it stays in place over that connector, it should be good. And then you can push it down. Oops. Okay, come on. It's a little bit difficult to do this. Okay. Stop jumping off. Alright. This is a little bit tricky. Let's see. Come on, line up. Okay, there we go. And then push it down. Next one. Line it up, push it down. Alright, so we got all those 3 in. Now we will tighten down the screw here. There we go. Okay, these spring-loaded ones, you kind of want to move them up. You kind of have to twist them around like this to rotate them to get them to go in properly. So make sure you get those in. I'm actually going to put those screws first if this thing moves around. Oh, it's actually staying in place, so I can do the T5 ones first. But make sure you rotate these and get them holding on, latched in there. Okay. Oh yeah, no, it's going to come out. So I'm going to use the T4 and actually put those screws back in first. Okay. Or the T3, sorry. Okay. So what I like to do is hold it in place just like that, and then put the screw in. Can be a little tricky to do, but there we go. Okay, get the other one. Make sure it's held in place properly, and then twist that in. Alright, same thing with the other side. Rotate it over, hold it in place, and then twist it in. Okay, same thing with this one. Alright, there we go. Hold that in place, twist it in. Okay, now we're going to switch back to the T5. Okay, so move this into place. And then put the T5 screw in. So I like to loosely put these screws in just to make sure everything is lined up properly before I tighten them down. Okay. Just like that. Okay, and then hold that thing down, tighten it in place, just like that. Okay, don't over twist these. Sometimes the post below is kind of not very good and then it will strip, so you want to be careful not to over tighten. Alright, so we're done with the T5 bit, so we'll put that one away. Switch back to the T3. You want to reconnect this LCD or LVDS connector. You might have to like shove it downwards a little bit to get it to line up properly, and then make sure it connects in place properly. Okay, oops. Just like that. When you snap it in, it should hold itself in place. Okay. Then to put these screws back in, get the T3. It helps to hold this little metal bracket while you're putting the screw in. So I like to hold this and then put the screw and then use this to kind of guide the screw into place. Just like that. Oops. Sometimes these are the most tricky to put back. There we go. And then again, I like to put them loosely first. That way I can make sure this stuff like lines up properly, and then we'll put in the next screw. Just like that. Tighten it in place. There we go. So now we got the video connector and the wireless antenna connected. So if you want, you can actually test it right now like this. We do actually need the T5 back. Okay. So we'll put this one screw back for the battery connector. Okay, just like that, line it up and then tighten it down. And a lot of times on these models, you actually have to plug the power back in to turn it back on after removing the battery. So keep that in mind. You do need your charger working. Okay, now to put this back, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this, but you grab the little plastic tab and then you have to like use that to guide the connector into place. I don't know if you were able to see that. And then after that, you just push that latch down. But you want to keep pulling this tab out while you're putting that latch down, just like that. And then I'm going to put this plastic thing back on top. I like to line up this circle with that screw, and then I know to roll it over just like that. Okay. There we go. All right, let's see if it powers on without the charger, but I'm probably going to need the charger. Oh, actually it's clicking right now. So I feel the trackpad clicking, so it should be turning on. Okay, we're just going to wait, see if the screen comes up. I'm going to peel this off so I can see a little bit better. Okay, there you go. So the screen is coming on, so we are good to go. So I'm going to put back all the screws, and that should be it. I'm going to peel off this back piece as well. Okay. Oh. Okay. Put a little sticker to hide the Apple logo, but peel that off. All right. There we go. We got the new screen. It's starting up. Looks good. Wait for it to completely load. And then I also like to do a PRAM and SMC reset on these as well, which is Control Option Shift and then the power button. The screen should go completely off. Make sure your computer's not booting up while it's doing that, or you can also shut it down and then do it while the computer's off. Right? After that, power it on, and then Command Option PNR while it's booting. And then you should see the screen flicker off if you do it right. There you go. So the screen turned back off, and it goes back on. Come on. It should turn itself back on. If it doesn't turn itself back on, you can just manually turn it back on, but normally it will turn itself back on. Come on. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, and that's pretty much it. Let's put back the rest of the screws. Okay, so we'll switch back to the T3. We already finished the T5. Okay. Be careful now because the battery's connected. You don't want to drop any screws on the board. Okay. So we'll put these little hinge covers back in, just like that. Let me zoom out. Okay. Both sides, put the little hinge covers in at an angle like that. Let it drop down. All right. Take the T3 screws. Okay. And then just tighten it in. Okay, just like that. Okay. All right, so we got those in. Now we're going to put these little covers on. Okay, and that'll cover over this one. Again, you want to be very careful because there's power in the laptop right now. So to be safe, usually you'll want to disconnect the battery, but I'm just doing this the faster, lazier way. But for you to do it, if you're to be safe, disconnect the battery again and then hold the power button down for 10 to 15 seconds, drain all the power again. Okay. So there we go. Put that screw in. Okay. All right, we got this last bracket and then the screws for the antenna. Okay. Same thing. Grab the thing. This, it's easier. And then line it up and tighten it down. There we go. That one I put in loosely just in case it's not lined up right. There we go. Okay. Now we've got all the T3 screws in, so we're going to switch back to the pentalobe 0.8 or the P2. Okay. Let's put back all those little antenna screws. These are the tiny ones. Okay, I like to press the antenna into place so it doesn't move around. Make sure it's flush against the wall. Okay, and then I'll also do the two outside screws first, so that way I don't have to keep holding it. Okay, same thing with the other side. let's put back the rest of the screws. Just like that. And I'm getting so many messages and calls right now. Almost done. Right, and I don't know if you noticed, but usually I'll turn the screw backwards when I first go to put the screw in. That makes sure that it goes into the drilled out spot properly, not like crooked. Okay. Alright, so we're finished with those. Now we'll switch back to the pentalobe 1.2 or the P5, and then we'll put the cover back on. So to put the cover back on, what you do is you put one side in first like this, and then you press down near the top while you slide it up. Then you go to the other side, press that down, slide that side up. Okay, go back, make sure it's still going, and then slide it up. Then make sure this is all lined up. It's a little bit off here, so I'm going to take it back out and redo it. Okay, let's put it back this way and take this back out. Okay. Alright, you want to make sure the edge lines up right. It was going slightly above the thing. Okay. Same thing, slide it in, there we go. Alright, and then you clip down the sides just by pressing on it, and then the middle as well. Then we just put back all the pentalobe screws, okay? And that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe, help others find my videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright. Okay, just put back the rest of the screws. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.